Hiya, it's Avalon here. I just wanted to talk tonight about a couple of vinyl records that I picked up recently. I went to the Soul and Funk Exchange in Notting Hill, London, and I would recommend that anybody who's into collecting vinyl records visit there because they have a wide selection of music to choose from. They have an upstairs and a downstairs, and you can get some good records at a bargain price. So the first thing that I got there was the Faces album by Earth, Wind and Fire. This was from 1980 and it's a double LP. I've never actually heard anything from the album before, but I am always open to buying albums by Earth, Wind and Fire because I do have a couple of their albums. I have Spirit, All in All, I Am and Raised, and they have been 10 out of 10 and flawless, so their standard is just very, very high, and I know that I won't be disappointed. Also, the lead singer, Maurice White, has said that Faces was his favourite album that they'd made, so I'm really looking forward to finding out exactly how good it is. Now, another artist that I do like is Herbie Hancock, but the albums that I'd heard by him have been acid jazz instrumental albums without any vocal on them. However, this album called Feet Don't Fail Me Now from 1979 actually does have him singing on it, so it's very different to the other albums by him that I'd heard, and it's a bit more of a dance album. I'd call it acid jazz, funky house, dance. And a couple of years ago I did actually want to buy this album, and I remember looking for it on eBay and Amazon, but they were going for phenomenal prices and I didn't think it was that good to actually buy it. However, it was only £4 here, so there was no excuse for me not to buy it. I also got 2 albums by Heatwave. Heatwave are one of my favourite bands in the whole world. My favourite bands, my top 5 favourite bands would definitely be Earth, Wind and Fire, Heatwave, Tears for Fears, Jamiroquai and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Heatwave are such an amazing disco band. If anybody's not heard them before, please do check them out. I had their first album, Too Hot to Handle, and it was fantastic. In fact, I spent a whole week just listening to side A without even bothering to turn it over to side B because side A was that good. Side B was equally good. So I was hoping to find their second album there because I figured that with the first album being so fantastic, the second couldn't be that far off. However, they didn't have the second album, but they did have the third and the fourth. So, this is the third album, which is called Candles, and I didn't know anything on this album apart from one song called Turn Around, and that song is very, very good. When I played this album, I have to admit that I was sort of disappointed. I didn't really like it that much. I didn't think it was anywhere near as good as the first album, but I have only played it a few times and I think I should give it a bit more of a chance to see if it grows upon me. And I got their fourth album called Current, and you might have noticed that with them being Heatwave, all of their albums have a title related to heat. So you've got Too Hot to Handle, you've got Candles, you've got Central Heating, and you've got Current. So they've got a bit of a theme going on there. This fourth album, again, there was nothing on it that I was familiar with, but there is one song on side A called Letting It Loose, which I fell in love with as soon as I heard, and it's one of my favourite songs in the entire world. So if there was nothing else on that album I really, really, really like, that one song is timeless. Now, from the downstairs section, which is rock and pop, I managed to salvage some records by David Sylvian, who is one of my favourite artists of all time. I adore his music. So I managed to get Secrets of the Beehive. This album I actually have on CD, and I picked up the vinyl and I thought, no, I don't need to buy it because I have it on CD already. And then I went back and I bought it, and I'm so glad I did because it's such a beautiful album and it sounds really, really well on vinyl. You hear the bass come out, it's so good. I have a couple of CDs which I also have on vinyl, but those are normally just favourite albums that I bothered to have 2 copies of. It's a fantastic album, and it sounds even better on vinyl, so if you don't have it on vinyl, do try and get it. I also managed to find 2 singles by him. I found this one here called Taking the Veil, and this is from the Gone to Earth album, which is a beautiful album. And side B of this is Answered Prayers and A Bird of Prey Vanishes into a Bright Blue Cloudless Sky, which it sounds a little bit like a poem or a novel rather than a song. It's actually an instrumental, and it's very, very ambient. Now, I also found this single by him, which is Red Guitar, and this was from his debut album Brilliant Trees, which is a brilliant album. Red Guitar is actually the first song by David Sylvian that I've heard, and it's what made me want to buy his album Brilliant Trees, and from then on I ended up getting into all of his other albums. So I felt like I had to buy this single because it was the first single that I've heard by him, and it's a beautiful song. The cover is very funny though, because you might have thought he would have been holding a red guitar or something, but he's just having a light there. He's having a cigarette. So that's kind of funny. And side B on that is Forbidden Colours, which is from his second album, Secrets of the Beehive. Now, David Sylvian used to be in a band called Japan before he became a solo artist, and I never really got into Japan. And I have listened to a couple of their things, but not properly. I just heard a few of their songs, and I never really took to them. But I did see this album there, which is by Japan, and it's called Oil on Canvas. Now, this is a live album, and it's a double LP, and it has about 20 songs on it, which come from various previous albums that the band did. And I don't understand why I didn't like their music before, because after playing this, I actually have fallen in love with Japan, and I really don't understand how I didn't like their music before. But a couple of my favourite songs on this are Visions of China, Ghosts. I do know of Ghosts because it was on his solo compilation album Everything and Nothing, so I did know that one before. Still Life in Mobile Homes and Methods of Dance. Those are my favourites so far on it, but I'm really looking forward to getting more into this album and playing it more properly, because what I do like of it, I think is really good so far. So I do really like Japan, which is strange because I have heard them before and I just never took to them. But that's what I've gotten so far. So if I ever buy any more records, I will probably do another video. But for now, that's all. If anybody wants to talk about any of the records that I have, or any of the artists that they're by, or even of any good record stores in London, just feel free to message me and I'll get back to you. So until then, take care and keep funky and have a good evening. Bye.